Will be promoted today is Hidden Realities, and as Malfid Loisel says, let's get this show started. We strive to make our loglines the best out there. For example, this show's logline is: in order to be seen as perfect in society, a beautiful woman and her loving husband manage to get an expensive ring. But the husband disappears, leaving a mystery behind him. The show starts off where two friends want to go to a party. One of them is an artist that loves materialistic things, and the other is very wealthy. The artist is married to a chemistry teacher who's also a part-time accountant. He has two jobs so he can provide her with everything that she wants. She asks him to buy her a ring to go to the party. He couldn't afford it, but he never says no to her, so he borrows money and buys it. Soon after the party, a disaster happens. She flushes the ring down the toilet, leaving her husband under lots of stress, causing him to lose one of his jobs and go missing. The show crosses of Hidden Realities are murder mystery due to the relationship of people, Breaking Bad due to the role of a chemistry teacher trying to provide for family, and the Italian Job because Stella becomes a thief to get back at the guy that killed her dad. The artist in the show is Malfid Loisel. She is very charming and nice, but cares too much about people's opinions.
The loving husband is Mr. Loisel. He likes teaching chemistry and all his students like him, but on the weekends he doesn't get along very well with people and the bank. When Maflete asks him to buy her the ring, he does everything he can to provide it for her. Stephen Brown is a math teacher that works with Mr. Loisel. His ultimate goal in life is to be a role model for his students. He is very rich due to his smart thinking and gives Mr. Loisel great advice all the time. Forcier is Malfate's rich best friend. She is an investigator and is always busy. In the pilot, we see that it is the year 2050 and the world is still the same. We are introduced to the main characters and their relationships. First, it starts off in the morning with Mr. Loisel and Malfade eating. Then Forcier calls and says she was going to visit them. Mr. Loisel goes to work and comes home. When he gets home, his wife asks him to buy her a ring to wear to the party. He says sure, but struggles trying to find a way to afford it.
The format of this show will be a half-hour-long limited series, and the episodes will get the person excited as shown in the graph.
Episode 1 is the worry ring. It's when Malfade asks her husband to buy her a ring and he starts worrying about where he's going to get the money from. Episode number 2 is problem solved. It's when Mr. Loisel finds out a way to buy his wife her ring. Episode number 3 is lost. It's when Malfade comes back from the party and sees that the ring has disappeared. Episode number 4 is flushed. It's when Malfade looks down to see the ring getting flushed down the toilet, and Mr. Loisel gets in a fight with his boss. Episode number 5 is former accountant. It's when Mr. Loisel gets fired because he started stressing. Episode number 6 is missing. It's when Mr. Loisel goes missing. Episode number 7 is unfound. It's when Malfade keeps on looking for Mr. Loisel and doesn't find him. Episode number 8 is the danger zone. It's when Malfade, Mr. Loisel, and Forcier try to find Mr. Loisel, but go to a drug dealer who holds a gun to Malfade's head. Episode number 9 is another job lost. It's when the principal calls Miss Loisel and says if Mr. Loisel doesn't go to school, he will be fired. Episode number 10 is trust. It's when Mr. Brown and Forcier think that Mr. Loisel ran away in order to not pay for the ring. But Malfade trusts her husband and disagrees with them. Angle of the bird's eye view. Length, extreme close-up. Location in Malfade's washroom. This is when the ring falls to the toilet and gets flushed. They are all shocked, and there will be special effects of the toilet getting flushed. Shot number 2 will be the inciting incident. It's when the camera is at shallow focus, the angle is eye level, and length in medium shot. This is in Mr. Loisel and Miss Loisel's house. This is during the beginning of the episode when Mr. Loisel gets very stressed and worried. The special effects will be smoke from his cigarettes and the sound will be sad music. Shot number 3 is the climax. It's when the camera is at deep focus and the length is at medium shot. It's eye level and the location is at the bank when Mr. Loisel and his boss get in a fight. The mood is anger and the special effects are the camera. And the sound is yelling and breaking. Shot number 4 will be falling action. It's when the camera is at depth focus, the length is at medium shot and the angle is canted. The location is at a restaurant where Mr. Brown and Mr. Loisel are together and Mr. Loisel is telling Mr. Brown about him getting in a fight with his boss. The mood is sadness and regret and the special effects are the cameras and the lighting. The sounds are lots of people eating and sound music over it. Shot number 6 is the resolution. It's when the camera is at depth of field, length is medium shot and angle incanted. The location is at Mr. Loisel's house and the time is the day after they eat dinner. And the mood is set to sadness and fear due to the phone call that Mr. Loisel gets from his boss. There are multiple genres to this show: crime, action, romance, and mystery. They will be shown in many different ways, making the person want to keep on watching. This show takes place in Rome, Italy in the year 2050. The tone will be set to quirky and dark, and this show will have the visual styles of The Devils Wear Prada as well as murder mystery. The uniqueness of our costumes will add a visual appealing to our show. Malted will have colorful outfits. Mr. Loisel will be basic. Mr. Brown is going to be rich. And Forstier will wear lots of dark colors. The world will be a happy place with lots of neutral colors that will slowly move into a more dark and sad place. The purpose of our show is to teach people what real values should be, and the ideologies will be shown as happiness is the most wanted thing in the world, and we should be grateful for everything that we already have. And this will be unique because it's a teacher versus teacher, unlike most TV shows where it is teacher versus student. Netflix, if I was you, I'd buy it without even thinking. Here is my contact information. Feel free to contact me.